Hi guys. So today I am doing a set which is my take on this month's nail mailbox, and I am going to do them on this cute set of Beatles tips that were sent to me via their TikTok shop to try. So I got the 240 tip box, and it came with the tips in the medium almond that I asked for, a tip cutter, a nail file, quite a nice grit on that actually, a bottle of their nail glue, the full instructions. It really was a smaller size box than I thought, but it's like perfectly travel size. That cable is actually fairly long, so a lot of the wires I've been getting for stuff lately, the wire's about 10 centimeters long, which is mental. And that lamp is adorable, so that only comes on when you press on it. So I am going to be taking these back off afterwards, and I'm trying the Asta G peel off base coat that I got in my recent Temu haul. It is a good base coat. It does peel off, but no matter how thin it dries quite hard. So the Macat one that I prefer is very, very flexible when it peels off, like paper. The Asta G one is more like an actual nail tip. It holds its shape. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, to be honest. So I've selected my sizes. I'm just going to go in and put a little glue and then a little more in the tip. I didn't actually, I will admit to not reading the instructions. I did it the same way that I do my extensions from Nail Order. Now, as you saw there, I didn't quite put enough glue on to get the entire way down. So I'm just going to add a little more. Now, I purposely have left these with air bubbles near the edges and near the sides. See, look at that. As soon as I tap that with my finger, it comes straight on and it cures supremely fast. And I think that is because the LEDs are so close to the nails. Now, I don't give these a full 60-second cure because I'm going to recure them in the lamp. But I've left air bubbles where I could, and that is just to aid me in popping those off. Because with that Asta G base coat honestly did make it a little more difficult to get these tips off at the end. I felt like I was fighting it a lot more than I did with the Macat ones. But these set so easy and they really are so lovely to use. The nail sizes are good. I have fairly decently wide nails on my thumbs. I'm usually the 1 or the 2. Even the one on this is slightly too big. I had to file it into shape a little, and this goes down to a size 0. So if you are a wider nail bed, these are good. I'm just showing you the little air holes I've left everywhere. But they're a nice set. So these are the medium almond. I personally find these a little long, but when I showed them to my daughter, she's like, oh no, that is a medium. So I'm just buffing these off. I just find your polish and any nail art you do sticks better on a buffed surface rather than the shiny. So this is the design. And that is what I'm going to be doing on part of the nail, but then that gave me an idea for a gemstone nail. So I went and grabbed one of my tiger eye pendants and then had a play. And that first one honestly turned out pretty damn good. I'm not as impressed by the second one I'm about to do to show you, but I would still like to show you how I did it. So I am using Nail Order's Builder Gel Angel. That's the name of it. In shade Virtue for my base. I do record me putting on 1 coat, but I do 2 coats. It's a lovely. It's quite a neutral shade actually. So this is 2 coats on. It's not pinky and it's not peachy because you used to only get one or the other This is somewhere in between. So I'm just giving those a wipe off so I don't muddy up my matte top coat, and then I'm going in with a layer of top coat. So these gemstones are done with like glass gels. So some of them I had in like jelly gels. Some of them I did not. So I've taken art paints because they're thicker and I've mixed them in with a bit of base coat, or some of them are actually with a clear art gel that I have from Nails Lux, just to give me that glassy effect. And in the chrome palette that came with it, I've gone for the browner bronzy shade. So you're going to want a gel paint with a no wipe finish in black, and you are just drawing your gemstones. Just random shades. These are going to be like the old fashioned settings. The drawer is, excuse me, I keep yawning. I'm very tired this afternoon. So you just want to outline your gemstones. We've been into town this morning to pick up some last minute leggings and things for when we go camping this week. We're going to Wales. So I visited the Hell on Earth, that is Primark. But at least going first thing in the morning, it was not too busy. So I didn't, have the immediate rage to go start strangling people. Now these 4 little dots I'm putting in a diamond pattern do look really, really odd, but you will see where that leads shortly. So when you've got your shapes, you want to pop these into cure, and then you're going to go over with your chrome powder. And while we were in town, I ended up picking up a new ring. So my ring finger on my right hand, I've had the same amethyst ring on it for 20 years. I never take it off. It's never, come off since I bought it. So in some places on this, you would just want to overlap slightly to give it kind of like a raised, ridged 3D pattern. You're going to cure that, and then you're going to chrome again. But as I am getting older, I am also gaining a little weight. And for some reason, that weight has decided to give me fat fingers. So when I say that ring was beginning to come to the point of use a lot of washing up liquid to get me off now or have me cut off later, I am not kidding you. So those are done. We're not going to top coat or anything else, so you kind of need to be careful here not to get stuff over it that you're going to need to wipe off. So you want to put a blob of gel in there, and you want to make sure you bring it right up to the edges so it looks like that gemstone is really framed in there. So I ended up using some oil, removing the ring, and even like 4 days later, I still have indents in my fingers. And my daughter is now the happily proud owner of the ring she's loved for her entire life. But it's whenever I'm stressed or whatever, or even just normally, I have a tendency to rub my thumb along the back of the ring on that finger. And doing it and finding nothing there was actually stressing me out. So while we were in Leeds today, I popped in to see if I could find an amethyst ring to replace it. The place I wanted to go, Aladdin's Cave, there was some stunning jewellery, weren't open yet. So I couldn't pop in there. So we ended up popping into Global Tribe, the crystal shop, and having a nosy in there. So do not cure those gemstones when you have finished popping your gel in, because you are going to float the odd tiny flake on little sections of it. Now I have different colours that I'm putting on just to give it a different flash, but you don't need to do that. You could just use the same colour. And you're just going to lay that on there. Press it in slightly to make sure it's in there. It doesn't need to cover the whole thing. It can just be little flecks here and there just to give it that flash, when the light hits it. And then when you've got those in, you want to cure. Now, if you find the flash is a little too reflective or it muddies the colour of your gemstone, you can pop another thin layer of your chosen colour over that and then cure it again. But I ended up popping into Global Tribe and they had a really, really cute silver and amethyst ring. So I picked that one up and I'm now fidgeting with that on my finger. So in those little dots, you want to put a blob of a glittery silver polish. Mine is a flash reflective liner. And that is what gives you your little diamond looking bits. So if you pop that into cure, then your top coat, your normal top coat, cure that. And then in the video, they used a CC3D gel just to give them the raised effect. This is optional. You do not need to do that. It's just if you want the raised effect. I have that, but I also have the GG tub of super thick top coat. Apparently it's like the Gin B one. So I got it to try. Really, really like it. It's like a really thick hard gel, but it's a top coat. And I'm just spreading that across each shape to give me that raisedness. And when I'm happy with that, I do just flip my thumb upside down, just so it pulls down slightly and gives you that, that beautiful domed arch of the gemstones. And next we are starting on the middle finger. So this is the one I did the tiger's eye on. The first one was an experiment. I really, really enjoyed doing that. The second one that I'm doing for you was trying to remember what I did the first time. And it's not entirely the same. It's as close as I could get it because I was just dipping a brush in that and dipping a brush in that, this and that. I didn't fully write down or take note of what this and that I was actually dipping the brush in. So it's the same effect as on the thumb. Gel paint, then chrome. And this one is one of the mortar pots from Temu. And I call it like a moonbeam cat eye. It's the one where it, just glows nicely, not the big sparkle. And I'm just doing a layer of that because my my tiger's eye, when it hits that light, it has that beautiful glow. So I kind of wanted to try and incorporate that how I could. But this is just a case of me layering different shades of amber, yellow, and brown that I'd mixed for those gemstones. Some of them are from the Torty kit that I got from Nails Lux. And I'm flash curing at 15, or I'm doing it completely wet on wet like I am here and just adding them in so they kind of blend in naturally and move when needed. And it's just a case of running your brush down and trying to get the lines and the patterns where you want them. On the original one, I'd used my tiger's eye stone for reference, just trying to replicate the different. Oh, he weighs a ton when he jumps on your lap. The different lines running through and the different textures and patterns. I do like my gemstones. I have quite a few around the house. Quite a few of them are jewelry wise. I'm definitely a sterling silver and gemstone lady. So when you're happy with it, multiple cures or anything else, then you just want to start on the rest of the nails, which are all exactly the same as the thumb. Jazzy Nails, who did the tutorial for this beautiful set, with the nail mailbox, she said it's meant as a quick design. You use what gels you've got, or you mix them with base coats and a little silver sparkle, a little chrome, and you're done. Because you're just drawing out the framework for your gemstones and you're creating them yourself. And it can be as simple or as complicated as you make it. The cat's eye one was edited down. That was a good 5 minutes of me adding colours, swirling colours, wet on wet, cure this, cure that. These are meant to be simpler. It is just make your frame, pop your gel in, add your flaky, and top coat, and off you go. But it gives a really, really nice impact. And gemstones, I suppose, are universal. With this kind of nail, you could honestly have them any season. I've picked the darker colours because I prefer the darker colours. I'm definitely a dual tone person. I like the deep reds and the purples and the greens. And I'm playing with my microphone again today. We're seeing how the sound's going. And just remember, when you've done your frames and you've added your chrome, just to go back on. I think she said in the tutorial the point of it was to give that slightly raised effect in some areas, so it was as if it was vintage jewellery and old. So in some places it had worn down, and in some places you still had the 3D relief. So you don't need to relap everywhere, just in certain sections. So I think for the more rectangular places, I picked the corners to re-raise, and then like the odd line, one or two. And I just give these a cure. And then I will rechrome again, and I will go straight back in with the gel on top of that again. Now I 3D'd them on the thumb, and I did 3D the tiger's eye, but I think I only picked random ones for the rest of the nails. But if you're not somebody that likes bumpy nails, then by all means leave the extra gel layer off. I am picking one colour and then spreading right across the nails. So I'm doing all colour in one go, which is generally easier. But if you think you or your client is going to be clumsy, then by all means flash cure each nail and just swap and change as you go. And you can pick any colours, any polish will work. Just pop a bit of base coat in it. The more pigmented, the deeper the colour tone you'll get. Some of mine are gel polish, but the majority of mine are gel paints that I have just added the top coat to. So we'll just add the flakes and then cure and top coat. You can add as many or as few as you want. Some of my shapes I've covered the entire section, and others I just have some on the point ends or the odd little flash in the middle. And then we're just finishing those off with the little glittery diamonds. So you could mix a bit of glitter or mix a bit of chrome and a bit of glitter into a top coat, or if you have a glittery gel polish, where you can still see clear bits because it's not as coloured, you can mix a bit of the matching chrome into like a bit of the silver chrome to give you that extra little sparkle. So thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, coming up to the end, I'm just going to top coat and then show you what they look like. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and keep an eye out for more videos. And remember, if you do have a go at them, I would love to see your work. So pop a comment in the community section, or you can tag me on Instagram if you follow me on there too, or TikTok, and I would love to see what you have. So thanks, guys. Bye.